Hey guys, this is Latina, your favorite community advocate. I'm sure that you've seen the news about Councilwoman Farah Louis, her sister, who was also an aide to Governor Kathy Hochul, regarding the migrant shelters and a possible kickback. And I just want to say this, I hope it's not true regarding the councilwoman. You got to let these things play out just to see, what occurred, what happened, and people have a right to, defend themselves. But we do have a problem here within the Democratic Party. There is mounts of fraud, corruption, waste, and abuse happening in this party. And people need to be held accountable, from the politicians to the businesses to the nonprofits, community leaders. If you are breaking the law and robbing and stealing from taxpayers, you should be held accountable. You should not be allowed to hold office ever again. You should be removed from office immediately, because we have too many people in office who think that they can just do what they want and not answer for it. Like, for example, take Congress with the congressional, victim slush fund that they use to silence their victims to pay them off. And yet we don't know the names of these elected officials who committed these acts, who settled. you know there's a serious problem, and that is an issue that's happening on both sides. It's not just one Republican, one Democrat. It's happening on both sides in Congress. So taxpayers need to be demanding more accountability. We need to be, holding elected officials accountable. There needs to be more transparency. That migrant shelter possible kickback is just the tip of the iceberg. We want to know, like, who else is involved? Are there law enforcement involved? Allegedly, I'm not saying that they did anything, but this thing is like, it's like a spiraling effect, because you have a politician who's now under federal investigation. That is not something to play with. Can you imagine how many more are allegedly involved in this scandal? Look, at we have Medicaid fraud, Medicare fraud, frauds with the nonprofit funds. So much going on, and you cannot tell me that the politicians are not in on it, or that they're not aware of what's going on. You cannot tell me that the governor is not aware. I'm not saying she did anything, illegally, but I do think that she has some type of sense to know that there's something dirty going on in her state. That's with any governor. And I suspect, with all the blue states and blue cities, there's corruption. There's like plenty of it. It's just now coming out. And I think that there's going to be more that's going to come out.